This is the story about the time I drove a tuk-tuk aimlessly around Sri Lanka with some friends. Sometimes in life, you find yourself in a situation where one small decision can change everything. We're often caught up with thinking that we're stuck in our current situation and that's just the way it is, when really, in reality, we control a lot more in life than we sometimes think. Let me bring you up to speed on how I got here. I was actually backpacking while working remotely during the Christmas season in the Philippines. Christmas itself was an absolute blast, surrounded by great people, and the vibes were at an all-time high. But then I went back to El Nido with the intention to meet some more cool new backpacker friends and explore the beautiful island nature around the area. But it didn't work out that way. Now, it might sound funny, but you can actually feel alone, even in paradise sometimes. Something with the vibe in town over the holidays just felt off. Like everything was all about image or something. I found myself inadvertently spending my time trying to impress people that I didn't really care to impress. In life, we have the ability to control the way we view and perceive things, to look at the simple challenges in life and find beauty in them. I took a look around and realized just how beautiful and amazing the place I was in really was. The privilege to have a healthy body to explore a place like this is truly a gift. I went out and booked a boat tour to go and explore the nearby islands and appreciate the beauty of this amazing place. But then the weather turned, and all the boat tours were canceled for the foreseeable future. And then, that night, in my old loft apartment, 2 mice ran across my floor, a giant cockroach was under my bed, and I'm pretty sure a monitor lizard knocked out my ceiling fan in the middle of the night. I'm pretty sure there's a lizard up in my roof right now. There's something like all last night up there. Okay, maybe this time my mental resolve might involve physically changing locations. I made the decision to take all the money from the canceled boat trip and look for something more meaningful to do with it. Somehow I landed on Sri Lanka when I saw they were in an economic crisis. I figured that changing locations and spending my tourism dollars in a country facing economic hardships would be a much more fulfilling experience. I suddenly found myself feeling really inspired and thought, I want to do more than that. During my journey, I want to find a really hard-hit village and go buy a bunch of groceries to help out. But how to get around to find said village? I got on Google and discovered a company that actually rents out tuk-tuks to foreigners to drive. And when you rent, most of the money goes to the tuk-tuk owner, which gives them a better quality of life on a good income and also allows them to work a second job or take some education while you're renting their tuk-tuk. And did I mention, you get to drive a tuk-tuk?
Okay, fine. You can do.
Wait. Leopard.
First animal.
Dog leopard.
No, we saw cow there.
So I just got to Sri Lanka. Feels like such a good idea. Decided to come here on this trip. It's a country I've always wanted to go to, and even though there's been the economic crisis, it doesn't feel at all like, at least to me, like it's affected anything in terms of safety, anything like that. And obviously a country that's gone through an economic crisis needs tourists. So just by coming and having a good time, spending money, it's also helping the economy. So it's really good. And I got here last night and came straight out to Sigiriya. And the second I got here, they said, before you check in, if you want to hop in the Jeep, we're doing a night safari. So that was a crazy way to start.
But I think we
Field.
can we go straight?
What's that? with this.
And then today, just get to check out this place. It's the coolest hostel with all these treehouse buildings. It's like a treehouse hostel. And on top of that, I already saw an elephant on the road on the drive in. Best part about Sri Lanka that I've been looking forward to is I'm going to be driving it the entire country in a tuk-tuk. I'd read that elephants were the main hazard you could run into on a tuk-tuk trip in Sri Lanka, but deaths from elephants rarely happen, and all the recent ones happened in a remote village where elephants and humans have more conflict. As luck would have it though, I quickly found out that the remote village where an elephant had killed someone was actually the exact village I was in. Classic. And of course, on the first day I found myself returning at night, which you aren't supposed to do as elephants are nocturnal for the most part. On a narrow little racetrack of a road, I found myself face to face with an elephant standing on the road. Ignoring all advice to slow down and wait, I hit the throttle and sped past the back end of the elephant with my fingers crossed and eyes half closed.
How you doing? You.
Ah.
You're taking a tea video. Video.
A video? But is it?
Yes, it's recording.
Where can you see it? Ah, there.
because the male elephants are living alone.
Always?
Yeah.
Okay. I can do it like this.
Sweet. So the beetroot salad.
Oh, curry.
Is it a beetroot salad that's...
Oh, curry.
Oh, curry. Making in this cooking class?
Beetroot curry.
Beetroot.
Not salad.
Are you sure?
Samira say she wants to make salad, but Karin wants beetroot curry. So we done.
Should we do both?
No. We do.
Next we are going to cook how to make beetroot. We are going to show how to make the beetroot and Sri Lankan system. After that we are going for the cucumber, onion, tomato salad. We already made that. We make
Enough.
beetroot curry now. First we have to put curry powder, little bit like a spoon.
Half, okay.
They have a curry leaves, garlic and onion. Another brand.
Sri Lankan brand. Sri Lankan brand.
Nangi මේවා නැද්ද?
Got tomatoes, and the important thing now is to mix
pumpkin.
it.
And
mix
also
it.
we put in pumpkin,
And also we put in pumpkin, spices, onion,
pepper, salt.
everything.
I told you that I wanted to find a village to buy a bunch of groceries for. Well, it turns out I didn't have to look too far to find impact from the economic crisis. After talking with Minash, the owner of the Treehouse Hostel, I found out that Sigiriya was one of the hardest hit regions. He shared a passion for helping others, so quickly got in contact with a local monk to help make the arrangements. While I was still in Sri Lanka, I actually put together a video on this project to help promote the idea of giving food to help while on a vacation. So, cue the film. $1,000. In Sri Lanka, we'll buy you a truckload of food like potatoes, onions, and dal, and a couple tuk-tuks full of school books. How do I know? Well, when my 4-day boat tour got canceled in the Philippines, I took that money, plus what I probably would have spent on a week of drinking and partying, and came a week early to Sri Lanka to spend $1,000 on food and books for people who desperately need it. Sri Lanka is in the midst of an economic crisis that has left many of its people unable to afford food to eat. I told Minash, a local Sri Lankan and owner of the Treehouse Hostel in Sigiriya, the idea for my plan. He shared a passion for helping others, so immediately got in contact with the local monks who knew which families from the villages needed help the most. The plan was to go buy the food and then bring it to a local temple the next day to give it to the people. The mission started to grow. A German couple, Tobias and Miriam, who just arrived at the hostel, joined the cause and also contributed, which allowed us to buy enough food for another 40 or more families in the hardest hit poverty areas around the village. In total, we now had enough funds for around 140 families to get 3 weeks worth of food, plus school books for another 40 children in a different village. The other guests and now friends at our hostel also immediately jumped in to help, coming with us into town to buy the food and to help us sort and portion the food that evening.
A lot of potatoes.
When we returned to the hostel after buying the food and books, we could not believe what we saw. Some new guests who had just checked in had heard of the plan and were already working with the boys from the local community to sort and pack the food. In fact, it took about half an hour before we were up to speed on the production line that was already in progress. We literally became a throw-together organization overnight. It was a beautiful sight to see all these people come together for a good cause that they believed in, and we literally could not have done it without all of their help, and for that, I'm very thankful. Even as it was, we worked late into the night, which happened to be New Year's Eve. Everyone gave up their nights of celebrating and parties to stay and organize the food. Spirits were high as everyone worked hard as a team and had a lot of laughs. At midnight, we had a toast outside the kitchen and shared a very different but special New Year's with new friends. The next morning, when we arrived at the temple, we were overwhelmed by the number of people already there waiting for us. There were smiles and there were tears as we handed out the food to the local families who had sent one representative to collect the food. A family can have anywhere from 5 people to upwards of 10 living together, so the food being distributed will likely feed somewhere between 500 to 1,000 people for the next 3 weeks. Not only will the food fill the stomachs, but it will also allow the families to reallocate the money they do have to buy other essential items such as medicines. It was an absolutely humbling experience to see the joy on people's faces as they received what should be the basic essentials for everyone in life. Now, $1,000 is a lot for me. Life back home in Canada is expensive, but it's money I do have access to that a collective 140 families here don't, just to get food to eat. It's crazy to me because this wasn't some organization or charity, it was just a decision to reallocate some of my backpacking travel money to go buy some groceries at a store and give them to a local village. Now, over 100 families that did not have enough food to eat yesterday and would not have had enough food to eat tomorrow, now have enough to eat a full day's meal for almost the rest of the month. It hit us very heavily when Minaj told us afterwards that our team's work didn't just make these people happy and improve their day, it completely changed their situation. What a way to start the new year for 2023. With full hearts, we headed to the next village to give books to kids that don't have enough money to buy books or school supplies. This was a very heartfelt experience as we handed out the school books to the happy and excited children who had prepared a presentation with singing and dancing for us. This whole experience from start to finish grew and grew. We went from being strangers, a team, and now friends, as each person selflessly gave their time and effort to spend their vacation during New Year's to help feed families. No questions were asked, and no asking for help was needed, as everyone jumped in voluntarily and with big hearts to do good for others. Now, we are just one small team in one place in this world that is facing poverty, and I am just one person. We can't possibly help everywhere, and probably neither can you. But we can choose to do what we can and to have our moments. Just by traveling in countries like Sri Lanka that have the hardest hit economies and having a vacation, we do good for people by putting money from more stable economies into local people's pockets. And if we do decide to take it one step further, reallocate some of our travel money specifically to do good, whether it's one family or 100 families, we can all have our moment. And for us, this incredible team of humans here who I'll always be grateful for, this was our moment, here, New Year's 2023 in Sigiriya, Sri Lanka. Amazing. The next day, I found myself at a roadside coconut stand on the way out of town. I felt like I'd already had a lifetime of adventures in Sri Lanka and met the best people. And in an unexpected twist of fate, I'd already accomplished everything I came to Sri Lanka to do. But I still had the tuk-tuk for a few more weeks and literally no plan whatsoever. So I just drove, man. I stopped in a shop and the girl gave me a flower as a gift. This thing was seriously the most ridiculous unit I'd ever driven. A 3-wheeled weed whacker that sounded like it was gonna blow up the entire time. It was awesome. It's a weird thing in life that you literally can choose to do anything. I think we forget that sometimes and listen to societal norms about what we should be doing and let that dictate how we live. Welcome to Kandy. But the reality is, we really can choose to do anything. In some ways, life is just a big game, and in our limited time here, we get to operate our human body vehicles to use, explore, and enjoy this amazing world. Here I was in Sri Lanka with a red death chariot and absolutely nowhere I needed to go. But yet, I pulled that throttle and hit the road as if I had some purpose or direction. But I guess you can't be lost if you have nowhere you need to be. All I really knew was I was headed south, towards the surf beaches on Sri Lanka's coast. I arrived at a little guest house in the middle of the jungle in some small town. Here was the site of a twisted spiral tower like you'd imagine out of Willy Wonka or something. I'd never seen a cooler temple in my entire life. These are the random experiences you live for when you're traveling. I arrived at this cool mountain town called Ella.
Do I want the cheese separate?
I met back up with an amazing human, Samira, who was up with us in Sigiriya. She decided to jump in the tuk-tuk and join me on the road trip towards the southern coast. On the way, we actually ran into Tobias and Miriam again. They were parked on the side of the road beside the same waterfall that we had gone to check out. We spent the rest of that day exploring different waterfalls and checking out the area around Ella.
Yeah, please. This one doesn't work so well for Ethernet. What an absolute shit show. We made it to the south coast to a gorgeous surf town called Hirakatia and some more new friends. Traveled west along the coastline towards Gala with my new friend Anurag from India. Gala's this really cool fortress town that you just sort of lose yourself in.
Killed by the can.
That's terrible. All right, here we go.
attach it with the Buddhist temple.
Yeah.
Boom.
For the Tuktuk. I know.
What's your name? Name?
Do I play? I don't play, no. From Canada. Yeah. Oh, I see. I'm like this. You go like
Yeah, like close it a bit.
this. Like this.
Okay. No.
Alright, one more and then Oh! That's how they do it? After that, I just headed back up to Colombo. So that's it. That's my story of Sri Lanka.